Real Talk with Grace Redman features conversations with fierce and fabulous people from Grace's community and circle who inspire others with their stories of overcoming challenges to create amazing. Grace is an entrepreneur and success coach who works with individuals to diminish their negative mental chatter, boost their confidence, achieve their goals, and increase their prosperity mindset. Get ready for a series of anything goes conversations with remarkable men and women that will get you jazzed for life's unlimited possibilities of success, freedom, and fun. Welcome to Real Talk with Grace Redman.
Thank you guys for joining us today. It's Grace Redman, and I'm super excited to be here for another episode of Real Talk, where I get to have real life, raw conversations with incredible people from my circles and communities who have overcome challenges and created amazing. Today, I'm super excited to have my guest, Allison Tsukamoto, with me.
Hi.
Allison was born and raised in San Mateo. She received her bachelor's degree in public relations from San Jose State University. Her career has consisted of working in marketing, staffing, and administrative roles. Then, like many others, Allison navigated through the changes due to the pandemic. In 2020, she co-founded MediYumm with her best friend to offer custom and personally crafted website designs, photo, and video services. Creating MediYumm has offered Allison and her partner Kelsey another opportunity for them to express themselves creatively and freely. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Grace. Thanks for having me on.
I love it. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited to chat with you.
Yeah.
Because like many others, including myself, the pandemic hit us like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
And so many of us had to pivot and make some changes. So tell me a little bit how you decided to just go all in and with MediYumm.
Yeah. So Kelsey and I had been working maybe I would say end of 2018, we started kind of playing around with the idea of starting MediYumm, and we had a client, and so we were working with them. And then we just kind of kept picking up little pieces of clients here and there. And then when the pandemic hit, we were like, oh, this is different now. Because both of us, our normal streams of income, she was a freelance photographer, I was working in staffing business with you. And they shifted, obviously, with all the uncertainty. So, and then we were like, I think this is the time. I think this is a sign. And I think this is the time for us to fully just go into MediYumm. And then we also got a lot of interest from other new clients as well during that time. And then that's when we're like, okay, I think this is it. We just need to keep going. So we invested more time in researching and working with our clients at the same time, which I don't really recommend, but it just kind of happened that way. And and it's been trucking along.
You guys been doing great. I've been watching your on Instagram, and I know that you and Kelsey recorded some, videos for me. That was a lot of fun. You helped with some motivational minutes. So it's been great working. Well, I work with you every day because you support me in businesses, and it's been amazing to watch you just grow. And what's impressed me is just you, like you said, you keep moving forward. There hasn't been, I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but there's never been a time where you were just like, okay, I'm done. What are some of the tools that you've used to just keep you moving forward, even in those days where we're like, oh, it's been a tough 18 months with everything going on around us.
Yeah, definitely. So with that, I think setting boundaries has been a big thing for me, and just I'm still working on that. And that's still something that I think a lot of us are working on, because it's just, everything now is online. We're just constantly on there, and we have to definitely separate ourselves from that. And I think create more time for us personally and take care of ourselves and not get sucked into, because everything is really heavy, and it does really, I think, weigh on us, because we obviously feel the compassion and for everyone, and we want to help. And of course, Kelsey and I have done that in our ways. And, but I think, for me personally, I just prefer to kind of, yeah, I guess I need to always like take a minute for myself and like realign, recenter, kind of the things that we've talked about and you've helped me with to just ground myself so then I can take on the day. Yeah.
So it
Which,
sounds like just setting boundaries, because also, like you said, you're doing so many different things. Sometimes
Mhm.
it can get overwhelming. So
Mhm.
what was one boundary that you set recently, and how did that help you gain more space in your life?
So I think for me, like I tend to pick up the phone a lot, like the
Mhm.
second I see it ringing. And it's again like that's part of running your own business. You are gonna have to take phone calls, but sometimes I might be doing something else, or like it's just not a good time in, I think, for my mindset, like where I'm at. And so definitely just letting it ring, go to voicemail, and then taking care of it as soon as I'm done with the other task before
Mhm.
I just jump into something else. Because I think what happens is once you pick up something that you've already, when you've been working on something else, and that thing falls, and then that falls through the cracks, and then because you're taking care of this other project, then it just all gets too overwhelming for sure.
I can relate to that because I used to do that. I still do that because I feel like I have to serve everyone right now. And so when
Mm-hmm,
someone says I answer it, and I am better, but I still
hmm.
do it. If I'm gonna be real, I still do it. And there's times where I'm like,
Yeah,
I shouldn't have answered that phone call.
yeah.
What they say is when we get distracted from
Mhm.
a task that we're doing, it takes us like 15 to 20 minutes to get back on track.
Mm,
And
yeah, I need that.
thank you for that reminder, Allison, because I want to remember that because it's like, oh, let me be
Yeah,
there for this, let me be there for that person. So I appreciate that's
exactly.
like, yes, you're right. We don't have
Yes.
to answer the phone immediately.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that for me too, that stems from the people pleasing, like,
Oh, girl.
and yeah, and just, always wanting to be there and please
Yeah.
everybody and take care of everybody, and, so that's also just a whole 'nother can of worms, but yeah.
Well, like going back to now I'm going to open the can of worm, people pleasing and business. And you've been
Yeah.
working with me, you've been my right hand for 3 years, and I
Mhm.
was totally a people pleaser. Like whatever they
Mhm.
want, you have to get it to them right now. And that drained me and probably drains you because I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
Allison, I want this and this. What I've realized is we're still going to be serving.
Oh, yeah.
It just
Mhm.
doesn't have to be within the next 60 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm realizing that too. I think with balancing, supporting you and supporting like my business as well with MediYumm, like it and those clients like that. Yeah, setting those boundaries between that and just being like, okay, one task at a time, and I can get back to this in like 5 minutes, not like in 5 seconds. Yeah.
Totally. And it frees up, it gives us actually more space when we just focus on one task. You know
Mhm.
what? I remember all of our clients would send us these job descriptions, and I know remember this, and they still
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
want someone who's, polished, professional, articulate,
Mhm.
and someone who can multitask. Well, that's overrated because we really can't multitask. We really
Mm,
can't focus
yes.
on one thing at a time, although I throw tons of stuff at you. With that
Yeah.
being said, how do you manage, the business with Kelsey? Because you guys have really grown and doing so much. Um, and you're supporting me both in the staffing and the
Mhm.
coaching. How do you get through your list?
So I have to calendar everything.
Yeah,
I think that's
I love
just
that.
yeah, that's just where I'm at in my life is like even like with social engagements too, it's not even just my work, like aligning all the work to dos, but also just my social stuff because when it's not calendared, it's
Doesn't get
like
done.
yeah, it doesn't happen, doesn't get done. And I think for me too, which you've told me, you recommended calendaring to me, which has been life changing. And I think what I do too is I calendar, like even if it's a big project, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do 30 minutes on that big project and put it in the calendar. Like, so then it's like breaking it up because it has to get done eventually. We have a deadline. There is this, expected end date, but I don't want to obviously cram like 4 hours in and like do, work on, I mean, I can, but I prefer to break things up, especially to make it so that I can balance, so help support you still and support all the other MediYumm clients. So yeah, and have a social life still.
And you're doing a lot. So tell me about, like you said, this is new, and I think it's fantastic. We're used to working like you said, or back in the day when I first started working, you didn't take breaks. Like the longer you work, the more hours you work without taking breaks. It's like, wow, you're so great, which I think is we need to take breaks. And I love what you just said. You could do that 4-hour block. However, it looks like you calendar things and you give yourself cushion. How has that helped you?
I think it's definitely made me more productive, just because I can feel, or I think I'm the type of person too, I'm realizing that I love a good list, but I also love crossing things off the list. So like when I get through that, 30-minute block or that other, project, and then sometimes, it feels super satisfying to me, that instant gratification, which also is a little toxic, but
Wait, so go back. So what makes it a little toxic? Like, I never heard that before. What makes it a little toxic?
Well, I feel like instant gratification, like wanting to always get something now, that's like a little like, we can't realistically always get what we want like right this second. But we can, I think, make steps towards, getting what we want in the future. So,
for sure. Planting those seeds.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 2018.
Okay.
What was the motivation to start the business?
So I started like a blog, I think, around that time too. Again, it was like, I think, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I started a blog during that time, and then because I got laid off at my previous job, so then I was like, well, I don't know if I'm like ready to go back and like find a job yet. So I like a full-time job. So I was like, maybe I'll just like experiment with this blog for a little bit, and I did that. And then with that, because I built that site, that's when I kind of got the skills to like build a site out and design it. And then of course, using the help of Squarespace, though I'm not like a full coder, if anybody's wondering. Yeah, I just know a few things here and there with HTML and CSS, but nothing wild. But yeah, and then from there, Kelsey was also doing a lot of freelance photography here with like, what was it? Like a restaurants and other business owners that in the food industry. And a lot of them were asking like, oh, do you build websites? Or, oh, do you like, do any of that? And then she was like, no, but I have a friend that does that. And then that's when we both kind of started collaborating. And we worked on, our first project was this coffee company in San Leandro, Primo Espresso, if anyone's wondering.
That was
So yeah, they were really cool, and they're great. And it was kind of our first like time with Kelsey and I too, like trying to figure out like how we would do this and like how we would work on that. And that was really fun. And then that's kind of, what snowballed and started it. I feel like also too, I like the creative aspect of designing the sites. Like I think in my previous job before, I wasn't really getting to be as creative. And I'm learning that about myself, that I do like to create things, design, and like be a little more artistic. And so I feel like with nothing wrong with like anything administrative or marketing or like, I mean, that does allow for that. But I think it just, I was getting to use a different part of my likes and stuff and like skill set. So yeah.
What's been the most rewarding part of having your own business?
I think like getting to work with our really cool clients. I'm always like fascinated. Like I'm like, wow, you're doing this? Like this is so cool. Like it's just amazing. Like even like helping you, Grace, like we love everything that you do and put out there. And
you guys are amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It's just, I think it's been really fun getting to, I think too for us, because Kelsey and I really do like get to know our clients and like really want to understand them and what they truly want with their sites or photos or videos or whatever they, whatever content they need. Like, because also too, everybody's different. Like that's what we have come to realize with clients, because we are trying to, I think, always be like, okay, like this is our system and this is how we'll do it. But then it's like, of course, everybody's like, well, I kind of want to do this. And then it kind of allows for us too to be creative in that and like figure out how we're going to like work with them to achieve these really cool ideas that they have.
So it sounds like there's different ways to be creative. There's like you're being creative in how you're working with the client, because it sounds like each client, is unique in their own way. And then you get to be creative in creating the websites and with Kelsey's photos, that you guys bring it together.
Yeah.
No, you guys do. It's like I said, it's been amazing to watch it all come together. And also in any business, there's always going to be, ups and downs and challenges, and that's how we grow. What would you say has been your biggest challenge during the
let's see. So for us, I would say it's not like, it's so funny because I feel like Kelsey and I like we definitely work together well, like obviously, but it is hard, I think, managing a business with a friend, but also someone too that it's interesting because we both see things so differently sometimes. Like we could be on the same page about something else, but then something else comes in and it's like, no, like
so, a 6, I see a 9. It's really upside down.
Exactly. And so I think for us, like we've learned a lot about ourselves, but then also learned a lot about our styles of how we work, like individually and then together too. But like, so I think providing that insight for each other has really been helpful for us to kind of like work together, because it can be challenging when we definitely like things come up and we're like, okay, we need to take care of this. Like, how are we going to do that? And then it's like, she wants to go one way, I want to go this way. But we usually always pretty much hear each other out and I think identify like, okay, well, this will work. This will get it done. And then maybe we'll do this in the future. Like it's kind of just breaking it up, I feel like.
So it sounds like you hear each other out and then you meet in the middle on that compromise.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I give you credit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Work with any of my family or friends, so I think that's amazing. Like I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But you said something like you've learned a lot about yourself and each other through the introspection. What's something you've learned about yourself, going through this process?
I definitely am like, I feel like I like to be more hands-on with the client. Like I like to be with them through a lot of the process, which not saying Kelsey doesn't want to be there for them, but she does. Like, I think she's always like really project based, where it's like, okay, we have the date, we set it up, here's all the details, like here you go. And then it's like, I'm here, okay, bye. And then here are your edits. Like, which
necessary.
Huh?
Which is necessary. Like
so she's great at setting boundaries. Like, and I admire her for that for sure. Cause I think sometimes too, that's with me, like I'm not setting those boundaries, and then I am like encroaching in on this space with the clients that gets a little too like, it can be much maybe.
Well, it goes back to the people pleasing.
Exactly.
Which I could relate to in business for many years. And so now let me ask you a question. Now that you started setting the boundary, have you noticed any shift in the relationship with the client? If so, what's been that shift?
I think so. Like it definitely seems like, sorry, I'm just like thinking about it. But like they definitely, I feel like immediately were like very accepting and like totally agreed and like was completely fine with it. And usually when I do present anything like that with our clients, like they've always been really understanding and very accepting, which I'm super grateful of. Because I know that may not be the case always with our future clients, like, so yeah, but.
And I've also learned, like when we go into setting that boundary intentionally and from a place of self-love, typically it's received well. I mean, of course, there's going to be times when it's not, which we both know that.
Yes.
And then it opens up an opportunity for us to learn. Because nothing's perfect, and those sticky situations come up for us so we can learn and gain experience and how to handle things, down the road.
Yeah.
So what would you say, I mean, it's been tough, the last 18 years, the last 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
The last 18 months. And it's been tough, and you've been able to thrive. What's helped you thrive?
I feel like my friends and family have really been a great support group. You, Grace, you are like also a shining star in my life. Like
you're a girl. You got my back every day.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think having those people around you that can lift you up and kind of, like, because there's definitely been those days where I'm just like I have a group text with my friends, and like some days we're like, this is a lot, like today is a lot, and
it is.
You will kind of all be there for each other. Like even if like all of us don't respond, one person is there that usually says something, and is there for them. And I have a couple friends too that I think I can always text and call and be like, hey, like, are you free? But something I've been doing though too, like lately, was kind of like asking my friends, like, if I am feeling that in that space, in the lower vibration, I'll ask them, are you okay today to talk about some of my problems? Like, do you have the space for
that? So I love that. So instead of just calling them and, venting, you're like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Do you have space to hear me today?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So just family and friends kind of supporting you and getting you through this time.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's something else that you've been doing too, which I really admire.
Yeah. What?
You've done it, safely, and you during the pandemic, you and your pod had planned trips, like safe trips, like you guys would go out or camp so tell me how that helped you, because I know it helped you stay grounded. Like, how does that help when you kind of plan these things, you get a change of scenery? How does that change your outlook?
So for me, like one of the trips we did take was we went to Utah with our group, our small group, and we camped and stuff, or glamped, I guess. But yeah, that was a really cool experience, because obviously we just stayed in Utah, but like it's here in the US. It's just another state, but it was like a whole new world. Like, and I feel like that going somewhere that it changes your perspective on just what you think and everything, because like I feel like not only was it so beautiful out there, we went to like Zion and all those national parks over there, but it's just such a different place than like here too, because it's like everything's more spread out there, like it's not a congested city, and like and I think it's just, and the people are so nice too. Like, it's just nice, I guess, to get to experience another place that isn't really that far, but and it is
change of scenery.
Yeah, and it helps. I think too, because it was a lot of like nature and stuff. That was really nice too, like getting to be out and like ground yourself with like Mother Earth.
Yes, oh, Mother Earth. Pre-pandemic, I really got outside. I mean, I'd go from the car, inside. But since the pandemic, and I would be out in nature every day. Now I've made that a part of my lifestyle. Like every week, at least 2-3 times a week, it's it's a must for me to get out into nature, because it helps me, stay grounded and stay connected to, something that's bigger than me.
No, 100%. It's like, Yeah, I don't like even well, because I wish I could like throw up pictures here, but like Utah was like so crazy because like we went to Bryce Canyon and they have like these hoodoos and like there's just the rock formations are all like crazy and so pretty and I feel like I like couldn't even like you see it in photos and stuff like other people like going there and stuff, but I think when you actually really are in it and like seeing it with your own eyes, you're like, wow, this is really cool. Like, and the earth just made this. Like,
so pre-pandemic, before I would go out into nature, would you say that I was a little bit more uptight?
I mean, I don't know. Like,
I'm not putting you on the spot, but it just goes back to like the old school way. It's like, like hustle, grind, work, let's get this done. And this pandemic has really, I mean, like shifted the way we do business in so many ways.
Oh, yeah.
The way that we do, the way that we show up, the way that we produce, the way that we create.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it's giving ourselves space to be and not be so kind of to the grind. I really believe that we've created so much more.
Yeah. No, I believe it too. I think, yeah, I think it did this for a lot of people too, the pandemic, just like kind of realizing like what really matters, what's really important. Like, is this, does this need to get done right this second? Or it's like, it could wait, till maybe later in the afternoon or, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Just sometimes it's okay to be, we don't always have to be in that work mode, because even when we think we're doing nothing, but we're not doing nothing. We're resting. And when we're resting, we allow the ideas to come through, which brings me to how do those ideas come through for you? Because I saw what you guys did recently with like this color class.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So for that, so we because for us personally, when we also were starting the business and like trying to figure out, because again, I think in 2018 we did have a logo, we did have some stuff, but then we were like, okay, no, we got to take this seriously. We got to really like dedicate time to our design and like what we, how we want to market ourselves and everything. So we did have a graphic designer design our logo for us, but then we were trying to think of like what colors we want to use, like what even, like you just tell a graphic designer something, but you don't even like have colors ready. So we were like, I think this is an important thing we need to have. And for just establishing our business. So, which seems so small, but it goes across all platforms, it's going to go across your social media, your website, your, like it's your business card, like it's everywhere. So, and we wanted to create one of our goals this year too as a business was to create a class. So we were like, oh, what if we just create this small little like, color, how to pick your brand colors class, and then see if, it'll help anybody that's also maybe in the same situation we were. Either new business owner, side hustler, or just somebody that, maybe is like thinking about starting something, but they're not sure. And then they can kind of get an idea of like, it's kind of more of like, I think a guide, like, of just like, these are like some of the colors and like maybe why you would want, primary color or, secondary colors to be contrasting colors and like all that kind of stuff. And like kind of, how they set, the vibes and sort of like the tone, like each color, how it kind of relates to moods and emotions too.
I love the psychology behind it.
Yeah. So we were like, well, we'll just like put a little bit of this stuff in there. And then we have like a little brand kit, like template kind of thing that people can use and, copy and paste their own like colors and everything in their logo once they like kind of get it more established. Yeah. And then, and that's just kind of, we were just thinking it'd be helpful for people that are also starting their businesses or maybe a side hustle or something that they want to do and they're just not sure where to start in that aspect.
I like
that can be a piece of that.
I love color. And I know when I started the coaching business and I said, I want to use a red. She's like, oh no, that's not the right color. And I didn't listen because of course I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And understand now, hindsight where, there is a psychology behind colors. Like some are calming. So for example, the color blue, what's the color blue do?
Yeah, it's supposed to be calming and like trustworthy, I believe. Like that's another one of the words that relates to
Love
blue.
it. Love
Yeah.
it. So how
Mhm.
did you guys create the course? Was it
We did a lot of research on just like other colors and stuff. So I think we have all those linked to like in the description or something, or in the description of the video. I think there's like all the sources where we got everything. But
awesome?
yeah, so it was just like pulling all this information. Then also like I've taken like color classes like in just art and stuff in life. So just knowing the basics kind of. But yeah, so it was but it was a good experience for us too, I think, just to have an idea, because as someone who's designing sites too, I do have other resources that I use that I think could be helpful to someone else if they want to build their own site.
Totally. I mean, I would have never have thought of that. And of course, before we end, we'll let them know where they could, where they can find that, because it is color is so important in how, how we're attracting and how we're feeling in the moods. And I never really thought of it. And then when I saw you guys did the brand course, I was like, wow, that's amazing. Because there is a meaning behind it.
Yeah, I
For
know.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So now, going back to, you graduated from San Jose State and you kind of went into the corporate world and you worked there for a little bit. And then, you started MediYumm. Why, it's not easy to start your own business. And most of the time, it's hard to take that risk to do that. What was the motivation to where like, I'm going to do, I know that in the pandemic you went full on, but before that, like what made you decide, okay, I have my degree and I have this corporate job, but I'm going to do my own business instead of find another corporate job?
I feel like obviously I was working with you, Grace, but I also I did other temp assignments too with you in between that. And I think every time that I was like there wasn't really a time where I think I was like, this is it, like this is my life. And like and I love working with you, but it just I think also though seeing you build your businesses too, so and both your businesses, I'm just like extremely fascinated. I find that amazing about you, Grace, and I think that's so cool that you got to create the life that you wanted to live. And I think that I was like, if Grace can do it, I could probably do it too.
Yeah, you're traveling everywhere. I'm going to be gone here. I'm going to be gone there. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And I feel like like you've definitely, I think, helped me to kind of foster that too, like that confidence in myself to do this. Cause I don't think I would have done it. Like, like if I had it.
Because you had that little knowing inside of you where you said, because, even before you worked for Stansberry, you had your other corporate positions, but you had this thing inside you were like, okay, this is not lighting me up.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't, I'm so grateful we that we've been together. But even if I wasn't, you still, because you had that thing inside you, it was gonna, it was nagging you already.
Yeah. I think too, like I'm the type of person that if I don't try something, like it's gonna eat away at me for years. Like it's gonna like continue to bother me. Cause there's things today that I remember, like it just pops in my head and I'm like, remember when this happened to you? And you're like, like, why did we remember that? So I want to definitely, I think, take this risk now. And I think realize like, okay, I'm going to give it my all. We're going to try it out. And if it fails, it fails. But at least I did, I took a stab at it, I think.
Right. So. And that's, I think, the biggest, there's really no failure. It's only feedback. And the failure really is if you don't try, because you'll never know. And most of the time, the fear keeps us back. But how are you supposed to know if we don't try?
Yeah, exactly.
So talk to me a little bit about fear? What is something that's you feel that is, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot right now.
I'm like,
Something that may be holding you back. Like what's something that may be holding you back right now?
mm, right now, I think, sorry, I'm not thinking now.
I know
Holding me back right now. Yeah.
so many things I could talk about.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I don't know. Sorry. I'm like trying to think, yeah, what's like holding me back from just
Like what's something right now that you're like, okay, you know what? I want to take that step, but I'm like,
uh
dipping my toe in, but I'm just kind of still not there yet.
yeah. Um I feel like I don't know, we're trying out like so many new things, I think. So I feel like we're still um in this, like, it's weird, like not a testing phase, but like it's yeah, like it is something that I think we're always kind of working on and trying to figure out, like, oh, is this yeah, like, is this going to be a good idea, or like, are we focusing our energy somewhere we shouldn't be and it
Mhm.
needs to go here? I don't know if that's like holding me back though. I'm trying to like
No, but
figure
it
it.
sounds like just you guys have these, this, you want to take these steps or create these new
Mhm.
things. Is it going to work?
Yeah. Hmm.
And so have you done some of those things and have some things worked and some things haven't?
um yeah, so I think like we I'm trying to think of maybe not the kind of like our class, even though the one that we did create, like, not that it didn't do anything or anything like that, but it's just I feel like that was our first time building something like that. And so we were like, okay, like we'll try it out here. We'll see if this is kind of a good idea. And then it got, I think, kind of like some traction, but not as much as I think we thought it would. So then now we're like looking into like maybe we need a different platform. And so we're testing that out too and kind of figuring out those things. And yeah, I think it's interesting how it's like a lot of testing, I feel like.
Totally. And that goes
Yeah.
back to like the trial and error, and
Mhm.
there is no failure, it's feedback. Like, let's try
Mhm.
this. Did it work? What worked for us?
Mhm.
And also what works for you? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
so important because I feel like for so long, we do things that we don't really enjoy. And do we really need to do those things?
Mhm.
Can we do
Yeah,
something? There's so many different components to your business.
definitely. I know. And I think, yeah, like yeah, definitely trying or doing different things, like because there is so much, like, I think we're with our social media manager too, Kayla. She's another friend of ours. She's been doing great, and definitely I think kind of digging up a lot of new ideas and things
Mhm.
for us. That's kind of putting Kelsey and I both in out of our comfort zones a little bit.
I love out
uh,
of the comfort
yeah,
zone.
but I think it is good for us because it's going to help us grow. And like
Mhm.
even actually something that happened literally yesterday, like, because she's been interacting with people on our social media and stuff, and so she's able to get a press pass for like an event coming up this weekend. So yeah, so she's gonna go and like do that, and like I think that's really cool, like something that we probably wouldn't have had done, Kelsey and I, just managing everything, so
Mhm.
I think she's been one of the greater assets to our team for
And
sure.
and again, it goes back, like, I used to try to do everything myself.
Mm,
Sometimes I still do, and it's we can't grow to that level that we want to without
mhm.
having the extra help. So it's amazing that you brought her on, and it's amazing
Yeah.
the perspective that she's giving you and with the social media and getting
Mhm.
you out there. So would you say that you were someone that wanted to do everything yourself, or have you always been open to delegate?
So I have been the type of person that will always do everything myself. It's yeah, and that has a lot to do with control
Oh,
and yeah. And I think like yeah, with but I've been trying. I think this though is something that's like gone back to even like high school. I think like I learned about myself that I was like, wow, I need to learn to delegate. Like, you know, but again, struggled with it for so long and like only kind of started realizing like now, you know, like, okay, this is important. Like you need to trust the people around you and trust that this is going to, you know, happen, and you just need to let go of it and let them take care of it.
Which is not easy.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because, you know, you went back to the word control, which that could be a whole episode in itself. It's not easy to delegate. So what do you believe is the underlying theme of the control for you?
I mean, I just like to, I think, have things a certain way. Like,
I know.
Yeah, that perfectionism really gets in the way a lot. And yeah, and I think expectations of how I think I want it to be and where I want it to look, or where, you know, just whatever it is, I have these expectations. And I think for me, like, I'm like, okay, well, if I want it done this way, then I need to do it. But in reality, like, I don't need to do it. Like, I can trust someone else to do it.
Yes.
I just need to let go of that and let them do it.
Which is easier said than done.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So here, you know, expectations. How have expectations served you? And then how have expectations hindered you?
So
the expectations serve us in a way until they no longer serve us.
Yes, exactly. I guess, yeah, I don't know how maybe they have it, or they've served me probably, I don't know, like, I guess, because I know, like, in a negative way, like, they for sure make me think, you know, like, I have them and then I think, oh, this is how it's going to be. But then reality, like, it's not gonna, you know, that doesn't mean that it's going to turn out that way just because I have the expectation that it is. But there are times, I guess, where I'm right. So maybe that's why, like, having expectations on the way this person's going to be or something like that, because of countless times that they've always done it this way, no matter how I ask or do, you know. So then, yeah, so there's that. But yeah, I definitely think they can hinder you because it's kind of limiting in that you're always going to think that this is how it's going to be. But, you know, people change, things happen, and it doesn't mean that it's always going to be that same formula.
Right. And if we see it that it's always going to be that same formula, it doesn't allow for new amazing opportunities and possibilities and solutions to come through. Which I'm so happy I learned that, because I too was in a place where I felt like I needed to control everything out of safety. And same thing, I wouldn't delegate because I thought I could, you know, get it done quicker and easier.
Yeah.
But also that's where it, you know, it hindered me. And now I'm all about delegating, and, you know, that's the best way to expand our business and empower other people.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, and give them opportunities.
And yeah.
So what's ahead for MediYumm?
So I feel like we're, again, because we've brought on the social media manager, Kayla, and I think we're trying to move in this more direction too, where we're getting more community based, because we really like, I mean, we love where we live. Also too, Kelsey's out in San Diego too, so we also want to get out there too. But just building like this sense of community for creatives, that they can come to us and kind of like, you know, if they need help with something, I guess, like with their business or building it, or either a website or just photos or videos, or just, you know, they just are unsure of like, do I need a business bank account? Like, is this something I should do right now? Like, and that kind of stuff. Like, we have resources like that on our website that we found helpful when we were trying to take those steps. And so we put those out there on our website just for other creatives kind of to also look at if they need it.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you can share with someone who's thinking about starting their own business, right? Either a creative, a services, or product-based business? What's one thing what's one piece of advice you would give them?
I feel like to just, I mean, I don't want to be like, just start, but like, I think just like take like maybe like an hour of your time or like 30 minutes and either like watch a YouTube video on like what you want to like learn about business or read an article or just something that is kind of going to put you in the direction, I think, of like, if you're like, how do I start a business? And you just Google that and you just read what's on that page, like just doing that is going to like, I think help kind of get you in that confidence to start making those steps. Cause it's literally just kind of like you just gotta like, one foot in front of the other, like each day at a time kind of thing. Cause it isn't something that happens overnight for sure. And luckily, like I had Kelsey that we were able to like work together on this. But yeah, it took us like probably a year to like fully get it to where we want it. And even then we were working on it years before that. So yeah,
it sounds like you never stopped. You just continuously, even if it was just 30 minutes here, an hour there, you continuously work in the business little by little.
Yeah, take some time. I even like calendar in like a little time to myself, like on Fridays usually, just to like do an hour of like other creative like learning or like just some type, because I have master class too. So I was like doing that. Yeah. So just like kind of expanding a little bit more on your knowledge for that.
So constantly learning, growing. And the first step for anyone in our audience who's looking is just do a little research. And you're right, YouTube, Google, there's so many resources out there for anyone who's looking to start their business.
Yeah.
So where can our audience find you?
So we obviously on our website, that's www.MediYumm.com. And then we also have like all those resources I mentioned on there and the how to brand your business, the colors class as well, or how to pick your brand colors. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, our Instagram also is a really good place to probably reach us. We're pretty much on there most of the time. Somebody's on there. Yeah.
And what I'll do at the end is, and in the podcast, I'll have your website and the information for anyone who might want a website or some media, videos created, photos created. I mean, you guys do a lot of amazing things. So I'll have your information there for them to get a hold of you. And then anything you'd like to leave us with, Allison?
No, I mean, just thank you. Like, I'm so grateful for your time, everybody else's time that came. This was really a great experience. So yeah, thank you, Grace.
Oh, my pleasure. It's been great watching you guys grow and expand your business. And I'm really amazing to be part of that. So, and I'm so grateful to have you as, as my right hand, and just it's been a pleasure watching you grow that business. And I love business. So
yes. Yeah. Thank you, Grace.
You're welcome. And thank you for everyone who's been watching us. And Frida is here with us, and Belle and the MediYumm team. So everyone who's watching us on the replay, if you enjoyed this or know anyone who can benefit from these business tips, please share and rate today's episode. We really appreciate it. And I'm very grateful for you being here with us today. It does take a community and a tribe. And thank you so much. Until the next time, we wish you an amazing day. Take care, guys. Hey, love, thank you so much for listening today. I am so grateful for you. I'd like to show you my appreciation by gifting you a free forgiveness self-hypnosis audio download. Part of living the fun and fabulous life is practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness can be such a long and challenging process. My intention is that this forgiveness audio will help you in practicing forgiveness, especially with yourself. Grab it by visiting daretoachieve.com/forgiveness. For more inspiring tips, make sure to connect with me on social media. Drop me a line on Facebook or Instagram at Grace Redman Dare to Achieve. Until next time, keep moving forward towards living your fabulous life.